Hi, good morning everybody. I hope your Monday is starting off well. Going to give a complete update here on what beta is doing. My volume looks a little high. Let me turn it down just a little bit, guys. So this is actually one of our rapid response centers here in the digital area at KENS 5, and this gives us the opportunity to kind of give updates whenever anything could be going on out there, whether it's news or weather related, and we actually will run all of this ourselves. So if you ever see me jump off camera real quick, it's because, well, I've got to adjust my audio real quick or something like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump straight into the weather. Right now, we're dealing with a little bit of ragweed out there today. It's at a medium level. Don't worry, we're going to be talking all about Tropical Storm Beta coming up here in just a moment. I just want to get a few things out of the way before we jump too far into the tropics, because there's some things that I know a few people want to know about, like the aquifer as well. We had a few questions about that the last few days. Here's where it's at. You'll notice that 10-day average at 663.9. Now we jumped above the 10-day average, or rather jumped above that 660 mark, which puts us into stage 1 water restrictions about a week ago. Now here's the catch. We remain in stage 1 water restrictions for about 15 days. And then officials with SAWS, the San Antonio water systems, they'll come together with city leaders, and then they'll both decide together whether to lift the restrictions or not. Of course, we have to get through those 15 days first, and we have not gotten through them yet. That is why we still have stage 1 water restrictions in place. So just continue to do your part to limit that water usage. You know, we're getting some rain and the aquifer recharge zone, all good news, because we could still use a little bit of rain as we struggle with drought conditions. Now right now in San Antonio, 70 degrees, a little bit of shower activity here and there. You'll notice where some of the rain has been. You're seeing some green over along the I-35 corridor. That's where we've had some shower activity more recently, and that's why that area is a little bit more on the cool side. Here's what we're seeing, seeing some of the shower activity. Oh no, Cassandra says she spilled half of her large iced tea on herself. Her shoe caught most of it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I see some people saying, is it supposed to rain in San Antonio? Some people are saying, make it rain, rain dance. A lot of people wanting some rain. And so here's where the rain is. I see some people saying, I thought we were getting the brunt of it. Well, the majority of it was still supposed to be closer to the coast. So yeah, some of us are getting the brunt of it. If you're closer on towards the coast, you may be seeing more rainfall. But those in the hill country, just as expected, missing out on much of the rainfall, but they're still seeing at least some rain off towards the hill country, like Val Verde County. They're seeing a little bit of rainfall themselves. Here's where the system is. You can see the center of the system located about right there. Still off the coast, still has a while to go. Kind of northeast, east-northeast of Corpus Christi, making its way closer towards land. You can see how far these rain bands are stretching out away from the center of the storm. About 350 miles from the center of the storm, we've got rain. They're even stretching off towards the north, near our friends in Dallas. They're getting a little bit of rain from this as well. In San Antonio, we're getting a little bit of rain. Let's zoom down to our area. You'll notice parts of Bexar County cashing in on a little bit of rainfall, some light to moderate rain. This isn't very heavy rain, other than some of those pockets that just moved through Floresville, heading over to Pleasanton. I'm sure we have some farmers down in that region that are happy to see a little bit of rainfall. However, those who are growing cotton, this is kind of the time of year where you don't want to see rain if you haven't already harvested. So hopefully it misses some of those crops that the farmers don't necessarily want rain at this time of the year. So let's go ahead and zoom out again, show where some of these rain bands are. I mean, look at this. We've got rain bands from the system stretching even all the way up into parts of Arkansas and into North Texas along the Red River. This is a big system putting down a lot of rain. This system was expected to be a big rainmaker. That's what we've been talking about the last few days. But remember what we said. The higher amounts of rainfall were going to be closer to the coast. When you're in Bexar County, the I-35 corridor, we were talking more about like a half of an inch, and that's still kind of what we're expecting. Now, I'll notice here that some of these tropical tracks, whenever this system automatically updates, some of our tropical tracks kind of get wonky and they move all over the place. Let me adjust this right now. So we actually adjust our own graphics here at KENS 5. We will actually come in and adjust everything ourselves. So I know there's some things where people say, wait, y'all have to do that yourself? The answer is yes. So here's a look at what the system's going to be doing over the next few days here. You'll notice that by Tuesday morning, it's going to be really getting close to the coast. If it has not already made landfall at that time, it will at least be getting very close. And then we'll see the system push on shore and then take off to the northeast very quickly. Now, some people have said, isn't this kind of what Harvey did? Well, Harvey was very different. Harvey was a much stronger storm. And also, more importantly, Harvey did not have very good steering. This system does. This system's going to take off away from our region pretty quick. We're not expecting it to stall out. It's expected to put a little bit of rainfall along the coast and then take off. By the way, Harvey was expected to stall out. That's the difference between these two systems. This one's expected to take off, and Harvey was expected to sit still. So we're not expecting a Harvey-type situation. A lot of people, whenever we have different systems, they'll compare it to old systems. I experienced that a lot during my time in Biloxi when I worked at another system off that way. They had a lot of people comparing systems to Katrina. It's always important that you treat these as their own type of system and expect the impacts from whatever that system may be. So here's Beta. Moving off towards the west-northwest at 7 miles per hour, it will turn off towards the northeast, brushing up along the Texas coast and then up through Louisiana and Arkansas over the next few days. You'll notice that the system is a tropical storm. Tropical storm force winds there at 50 miles per hour. Of course, if they got to above 74 above, it would become a Category 1 hurricane. Not expecting that. A few days ago, it was forecast to become one, but it has encountered a lot of shear, dry air, different issues. We think that the California wildfire smoke that's made its way over our region the last few days, you may have noticed the sunrises and sunsets kind of looking a little different, a little bit of haze in the air. That's that wildfire smoke. We think that it could be interacting with the system a bit, but there's not enough research out there to really understand how wildfire smoke may interact with a tropical system. So I'm sure that there's going to be some in the education community out there doing a lot of research on how these systems interact with smoke since there's so much in the air right now. So this system, again, going to brush along the Texas coast, making landfall somewhere just northeast of Corpus Christi, kind of near Port Lavaca, Freeport area, and then brushing up near Galveston. Galveston's already seen a lot of impacts from this system. They've had some issues with piers breaking away and then being washed out into the Gulf. That's going to be something we continue to watch pretty close. So the hurricane hunters, the Air Force Reserve hurricane hunters rather, are right now flying this storm. They've been very busy the last few weeks. They fly out of Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi. It looks like their data isn't coming into our system right at the moment. I noticed that there was a drop in data in their flight data earlier on when they were flying, so it may be something with their instruments, or it may be something with how our computers are communicating with their data. Maybe we're just not catching it right. But they're out there flying the storm. What they do is very important. It helps to perfect that forecast with the data that they gather. So a big shout out to those in the Air Force Reserve hurricane hunters and in the NOAA Corps hurricane hunters who fly out of Lakeland, Florida. They've been busy as well, especially flying Hurricane Teddy way out there closer towards Bermuda. So here's a look at some of our tropical alerts. Tropical storm warning in place for areas from Corpus Christi stretching all the way up, even closer on towards Morgan City, Louisiana, kind of west of Grand Isle there, near an area called Marsh Island, in kind of south central Louisiana. That does include our friends and family in the Galveston region and stretching on down to Houston. You'll even notice that some of the counties within South Texas here are under a tropical storm warning. That's going to be areas like DeWitt County. We're stretching on down towards Goliad, Victoria, Lavaca. All these counties under a tropical storm warning as the system continues to kind of push on off towards shore and then eventually going to take off towards the northeast. So what's it going to look like? Are we going to see any rain? How much rain could we see? Let's talk all about that. How this storm impacts us here in South Texas. By the time we get to 3:30 today, seeing a little bit of shower activity closer onto the coast, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. This is one weather model. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw rain over San Antonio at this time at 3:30, and then stretching even further into the hill country. With how broad these bands are coming off the storm, I think we could very well see a little bit more of this rainfall being pushed further inland, and just be on the lookout for that. I think we could see more shower activity than what this weather model is trying to show. By the time we get to 10 p.m., still seeing a little bit of shower activity. I still think that at this time we could be seeing a little bit more than what this weather model is showing. But you'll notice that the center of the storm will be moving on shore overnight and into tomorrow morning. The center of the storm kind of located right over Goliad County by the time we get to about 10:30 a.m. tomorrow, and right over Victoria County as well. The center would be, excuse me guys, I didn't mean to adjust the camera there. There it is, kind of right by Victoria. So that would put tropical storm force winds into DeWitt County, Goliad, Victoria. Something we'd have to look out from this too is that sometimes when you have a lot of rotation in the atmosphere around the center of these storms, we can have brief spin-up tornadoes. So we may have a little bit of tornadic activity in that region as we head into Tuesday afternoon. We'll be on the lookout for that. I think that the main issue here is going to be the possibility for some flash flooding in that region, kind of closer on towards what we consider the coastal plains. Heavy rainfall continues through 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Notice the rain just kind of sticking around as we head even into 2 a.m. on Wednesday. Still could see some rain in parts of Bexar County at that time too. And we continue through the timeline. Look at Wednesday. Still a little bit of rain before this system takes off. And remember, this is one weather model. I think by Wednesday it will actually start moving more to the northeast than what that one weather model is trying to show. So how much rain do we see the next 7 days? Much of this falls over the next 48 hours. The next 7 days bringing anywhere from a ½ of an inch to even up to 5 inches in the coastal plains. That's where you see the dark blue right here, this dark blue area, and then the orange is going to be the 5 inches. That's a ½ of an inch to 5 inches. So a pretty sharp cutoff from not a ton of rainfall to a lot of rainfall. That's less than 100 miles. That lets you know that some of us seeing a lot of rain, others of us not seeing as much, and that all depends on how far this system gets inland. Notice how much rain San Antonio sees on top of the rain we've already seen over the next 7 days. We're talking a ½ of an inch of rain possibly, maybe even less. Now there is a possibility we see a little bit more than what this is actually showing. Again, I think that some of these bands are coming in a little bit more than what was previously expected. So I think we could see a little bit more rain, but I do not expect it to be a very messy situation. I expect a majority of the rain still to be more towards the coastal plains, and that's where we're going to have it. Cuero, Gonzales, Victoria, getting over towards Hallettsville. Those are some of the areas that are also under a flash flood watch through 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Gonzales not included in that, but some of those other areas that I just mentioned, yes, there's a flash flood watch, and no, that does not include San Antonio or Bexar County. I see some questions about Rockport, Alma. I can tell you that over towards Rockport, they have had a little bit of storm surge. It hasn't been a very serious storm surge situation. It's more of a flooding event off towards Rockport. Thankfully, they're closer to the coast, so once the storm moves away, that water should subside fairly quickly, being right on the coast, rather. So Rockport seeing likely a little bit of storm surge, some coastal flooding. Again, though, this isn't expected to be a major storm surge event, but they could have maybe up to 5 feet of storm surge down towards Rockport. So here's what we're seeing as far as the tropics are concerned. We have a medium chance for tropical development kind of north of the Cape Verde Islands. You see kind of just west of Portugal there, kind of well off to the west rather, in the eastern Atlantic, that medium chance for tropical development, that orange spot. That's actually the remnants of Paulette, which fell apart about a week ago, but has kind of been hanging out there, trying to get its act back together. If that does reform, it will likely not be an issue for the United States. Teddy looks like it would be just over Bermuda, but Teddy is actually just east of Bermuda. They do have tropical storm warnings in effect for for Bermuda itself, but it does look like the storm will just miss it off to the east. Great news, because they just got hit by a system here just a couple of weeks ago. We have a low chance for tropical development just off the coast of Florida, just off of the coast of really the Treasure Coast and stretching down towards Miami. That may swing around and move into the western side of the peninsula of Florida and into the Gulf of Mexico, and may get kind of close to Marco Island here these next 5 days. We're going to watch that pretty close, but not expected to be much of an impact right now with such a low chance for development. And then, of course, we have Beta, what we just talked all about, how Beta is getting closer and closer towards the United States. And you may be saying, or towards the Texas coast, rather, United States and the Texas coast here. So you may be wondering, hey, what's going on? Why do we have Beta? What is that? Well, we have had to move into the Greek alphabet because we finished up the names for the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. When that happens, we switch to the Greek alphabet. Now, this has only happened once before. That was in 2005 when we went all the way through all the different names. That was the year of Katrina, Rita, Wilma, some of the bigger storms from that season. Now, in that season, we made it all the way down to Zeta. Now, I've got a white line showing up there on a white background. You'll have to excuse me there, guys. Let me try to draw it right down the center there so we can see it better. We made it all the way down to Zeta. If we end up with an E-name storm, as far as the Greek alphabet's concerned, Eta, that will make this the most active hurricane season on record and recorded history. So, we'll have to see if that happens. But right now, we're only up to Beta, of course. So remnants of Wilfred are out there. Wilfred fell apart here these last 24 hours. Beta is just east of Bermuda. Again, expected to have tropical storm force winds there today, but there's where Bermuda is in comparison to the center of the storm. You can see the little dot on the screen just south of the Monday PM update. So we'll continue to watch that closely, but again, not much of an impact for the United States other than impacting some of the shipping channels out there. So here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Not too bad for us. Some rainfall today, some rainfall on Tuesday, and then into the evenings for both. But then by Wednesday all the way through the weekend, we're going to be much drier. Still seeing a little bit of cloud cover each day, but lows in the 60s, highs in the 80s, and then eventually rising to the 90s for highs. But we're going to be closer to around average for this time of year, a little bit above average by the weekend. But hey, we'll take the temperatures, especially today, with, even though we got some rain, highs in the 70s. That's going to help out our electric bills a lot after they were kind of really skyrocketing there the last few weeks because of how hot it's been. It's nice to get a little bit of relief from the heat. Now, beyond the 7-day forecast, what do we have from day 8 through day 14? We'd love to look at it, just get an idea. Looks like below average rainfall will be possible, so let's hope we can really get a gain of rain over the next 7 days, really the next 48 hours, since we could be a little bit drier from day 8 through day 14. Around average temperatures this time of year expected for our region, which would be highs in the upper 80s, lows in the upper 60s, kind of like what we had here over the weekend. Here's your Lone Star 3-day forecast. Not too bad. You notice a little bit of rain here for parts of the state Monday and Tuesday and even into Wednesday. That's all going to be from Tropical Storm Beta. And you're going to notice spots that miss out on it, like Amarillo, El Paso, Lubbock. If you're way further inland, well, you're going to miss out on the rainfall. Here's a look at the Texas State Park forecast. This is for tomorrow. Remember, not for today, for tomorrow. Starting off the day in the 60s and 70s, rising into the 70s to 80s in the afternoon. Areas further inland, like Devils River State Natural Area over by Del Rio, they're going to miss out on rain, while areas closer to the coast, like Palmetto State Park, which is actually in Gonzales, but it's closer than Del Rio, of course, they could get a little bit more in the way of rainfall. Guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. We're, of course, going to keep you updated on everything right here at KENS 5. Remember, we do have some shower activity out there. I'm going to leave you all with a look at the radar, kind of showing the rain kind of moving into Bexar County and parts of San Antonio. Have a wonderful day. Stay updated on this system. Of course, we're going to keep you updated right here at KENS 5, not just on our Facebook page. Download the KENS 5 app from the App Store. We have updates on there. We are going to continue to have updates on our YouTube page as well. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube, and we're going to keep you updated on the website, KENS5.com. And then, of course, you can watch us on TV. KENS 5 News will be at noon today, 4, 5, 6, and 10. Meteorologist Andrew Wilson will be on at noon today, with the latest update. We're going to have team weather and some of our evening shows with meteorologist Megan Massey, and of course Weather Chief Bill Taylor will be on giving the latest track of the storm at 4, 5, 6, and 10. I'm going to be working behind the scenes today, kind of keeping everybody updated on everything, and we'll keep you updated, of course, on anything you need to know, weather or news related, right here at KENS 5.